In February of 2021, Nickelodeon announced the new division, Avatar Studios, which was put in place to continue the expansion of the world from Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra, but with the original creators of the show this time, Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. Michael and Brian said this about the upcoming future of the company. And with this new Avatar Studios venture, we have an unparalleled opportunity to develop our franchise and its storytelling on a vast scale in myriad exciting ways and mediums. Avatar: The Last Airbender ended all the way back in 2008. So why now? What more could possibly be said about this children's TV series that ended over a decade ago? Well, fans have been asking for new content ever since the flop of the original attempt at the live-action movie, but even so more now in 2021. Avatar: The Last Airbender was put on Netflix in May of 2020 and became the #1 watched show for 60 days, which still currently holds the record. Fans have shown that they want more content, especially live action. It's even been announced that Netflix is making a live action series, and originally it was supposed to be with Brian and Michael, but then they left and now everyone's angry and doesn't trust Netflix, and it's been rumored that Katara will be aged up, and all of this stuff has gone wrong, but that doesn't matter. The point is that fans want more content. However, I don't think Avatar: The Last Airbender is the best direction for Avatar Studios to take. Don't get me wrong, I love the original series. I even have a tattoo for it. But it's not the only route to take within the franchise. Considering that the new Avatar Studios is almost like getting a fresh slate after a decade of failed attempts of trying to expand, I would argue that adapting The Rise of Kyoshi into a live-action film series would be a much better idea, and here's why. To see why The Rise of Kyoshi would work as a film, let's see why Avatar: The Last Airbender does not. Unlike Avatar: The Last Airbender, or even The Legend of Korra, The Rise of Kyoshi is a book and not a TV series. In the live action from 2010, they try to fit an entire season worth of content into a 2-hour movie, and because a lot of the important parts of the show rely on each character's personal journey, like Aang finally coming to terms with his role as the Avatar, or Katara slowly building her own waterbending skills until her battle with Pakku, it just doesn't make sense to make it into a film. The Rise of Kyoshi, however, has a pretty simple storyline that would be easy to adapt. The story goes like this. Kyoshi is a homeless earthbender child living in Yokoya village. Two men, Jinzu and Kelsang, come into town in order to search for the next avatar among the children, 7 years after the last avatar's death. Kelsang later takes Kyoshi in and becomes somewhat of a father figure to her. 9 years later, Kyoshi is a hardworking servant in a mansion for her friend Yun. Yun is an Earth Kingdom teenager who has been announced as the Avatar. However, everything kind of goes south when Yun's status as the Avatar is questioned after Kyoshi displays Avatar-level strength during a confrontation against pirates. Jianzu forces Yun and Kyoshi to go see a dangerous spirit to tell them the truth of who the Avatar is, and it's confirmed to be Kyoshi. After this, Jianzu murders Kelsang and leaves Yun to be killed by the spirit. In a fit of rage, Kyoshi shows her powers and goes into the Avatar state for the very first time. She escapes with her friend Rangi, and the two seek help from the Flying Opera Company, a band of outlaws who can teach her the 4 elements. With this new group, they decide to go on a jailbreak mission to free an Earth Kingdom prisoner. However, it's then revealed that the prisoner used to be a dangerous gang lord who terrorized the Earth Kingdom. Now that he's free, he begins harming people once again, but Kyoshi finds him and kills him in a duel not long after. At the same time, Jianzu has poisoned her and her friends and kidnapped the love of her life, Rangi. One of the members dies from Jianzu's poison, causing extreme grief and determination for revenge in Kyoshi. She goes to finally confront Jianzu, but before she gets a chance to fight, Yun comes out and murders him, revealing himself to be alive. The story ends with Kyoshi parting ways with her friends and heading off to the Air Nomad temples for further Avatar training. If you want to know Avatar Kyoshi's full story in detail, Movie Flame did a really good video on that, and I'll link that down below. In terms of a live-action movie, here's an example of how it would be set up. As you can see, The Rise of Kyoshi can perfectly fit into a 3-act movie structure. Not to mention, this is a perfect setup for the second book, The Shadow of Kyoshi, to be made into a movie as well. The Rise of Kyoshi would also make a better live-action movie because the story has a darker tone overall. One of the main themes of Avatar: The Last Airbender is that Aang is just a kid who wants to have fun.
I haven't done this since I was
Sure, there are dark moments, but the majority of the show is goofy and funny. The parts of Avatar: The Last Airbender that make it the masterpiece it is also make it incredibly difficult to make into a live action. Take this scene from the cartoon and the 2010 live action side by side.
Ah! You haven't seen my staff around, have you? Thanks anyway.
It's needless to say that Avatar: The Last Airbender takes advantage of the fact that it's animated. What is shown of Kyoshi, just from the series, is already pretty intense and serious.
Personally, I don't really see the difference. But I assure you, I would have done whatever it took to stop Qin. I offer you this wisdom, Aang. Only justice will bring peace.
I knew I shouldn't have asked Kyoshi.
And the rise of Kyoshi doesn't stray away from that either. Kyoshi's life is harsh, gory, and overall relentless. The original show debuted in 2005. Obviously, the kids that first enjoyed the series are grown up now, so a live-action Kyoshi movie would be a perfect opportunity to expand the rebooted franchise to a more adult audience. This doesn't mean that a Kyoshi movie would be humorless and completely serious, but funny in more subtle ways. This is why I would pitch Bong Joon-ho to direct the film franchise. Joon-ho is excellent at combining gore with humor, as we've seen in his previous film Parasite. He'd also be perfect to be the director because he's South Korean, and the Earth Kingdom is inspired by both China and South Korea. Having Bong Joon-ho direct a Kyoshi movie would bring in a more mainstream audience as well, since he's been gaining popularity throughout the years. Along with Bong Joon-ho as the director, the cast would be racially accurate to the cultures that inspire each nation. 2010's The Last Airbender took away so much from the world by completely whitewashing the characters.
So
The Water Tribe.
why are you white? Oh my god, Karen, you can't just ask people why they're white.
A theme that The Rise of Kyoshi explores is sexuality, with Kyoshi and Rengi falling in love. Considering that Kyoshi is an LGBTQ figure that so many people look up to, it would be essential to include and celebrate the romantic aspects of their story. Viacom CBS Kids and Family president Brian Robbins said, "Nickelodeon and I are incredibly excited to have Mike and Brian's genius talent on board to helm a studio devoted to expanding their characters and world into new content and formats for fans everywhere." With the recent reboot of Avatar Studios, they seem to be open to expanding back into live-action content. And starting with the rise of Kyoshi would give them that fresh angle they're looking for. And fans also want it. Like, just look at some of what people are saying online right now. To wrap things up, a live-action adaptation of The Rise of Kyoshi could reboot Avatar Studios to more opportunities and an audience that they've never seen before. The darker themes and creative world is exactly what people want when they watch movies. So I hope Avatar Studios looks into expanding Kyoshi's story.